and welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. I'm Nandita Khemka. You're watching Closing Bell.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, Yatin, after a freaky Friday, what we saw today was a marvelous Monday, given the fact that the Nifty has clocked a near 200-point rally, inching closer to that 18,300 mark. Even the Sensex clocked a 700-point rally, and if you look at the broad end of the markets, both the mid and small cap indices managed to notch a rally of somewhere around 1% or thereabouts. When you talk about sectors, you had the likes of the realty pack, the auto pack, the banking pack, all of them leading the charge today. And when it comes to individual movers, you had IndusInd Bank, that was among the top losers on Friday, down 5%, but today it has staged a good comeback and was among the top Nifty gainers, up somewhere around 5% or thereabouts. You had Tata Motors that reports its numbers this week, and that was also up 5%. Aside of that, Bajaj Twins, ONGC, Hindalco are some of the other gainers in today's session. If you talk about the losers, Coal India was one of the losers, given the fact that it had reported a disappointing set of numbers. You have the likes of Cipla, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, all of them down and out in today's session. Remember, most of these companies will be reporting their earnings this week. Yatin, any of the other movers you wanted to
So I think the market was quite stable today. In fact, if you look at the top 5 Nifty contributors, it was Reliance, it was Bajaj Twins, it was HDFC Twins and ICICI Bank. So financials which went down on Friday, especially HDFC Bank and HDFC Limited, they showed a good bounce back, and big boy Reliance Industries also was the top contributor. On the losing end, we had marginal losses coming in for stocks like ITC and L&T. But yes, the main reason for the markets to be up was that it was already at a very strong support zone. Plus, we had some recovery in the HDFC Twins, which probably fueled the entire market sentiment as well.
Right. On that note, let's talk about the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon, starting with IndusInd Bank. Now, this bank, we have already spoken about it. It was down 5% in Friday's session, and today it has made a comeback and is up somewhere around 5%. There were concerns about the chief risk officer quitting on Friday, because of which the stock saw a 5% fall. But brokerages believe that it's a management change as usual, and there's nothing to be worried about. They have kept their faith in the counter. In fact, Morgan Stanley has an overweight rating with a target price of 1525 rupees a share, and Jefferies has a buy rating with a target price of 1550 rupees a share or thereabouts. Yatin, when we talk about this bank, valuation wise, this is the cheapest among the top 5 banks. And important point to note is that during COVID, when the NPA stood at around 2.5% around June 2020, it has now come down to below 2%.
Yes.
And that is something that stands out when it comes to this bank. And another factor was the fact that the man who was credited with turning around the bank, Sumant Katpalia, he got a 2-year extension as the MD and CEO of the bank, given the fact that even though it was lesser than the usual 3-year tenure, but the street has largely digested this fact, and because of that, everything is going good when it comes to this bank. Another factor I want to point out is that this stock is likely to get added to MSCI in its August review. Given the fact that the FPI room was somewhere around 14.19% back in April, it is now somewhere around 14.5%. So by the time the June data comes out, it may inch up to 15%, and that would make it eligible to be included in the MSCI index. And if that happens, it could see inflows to the tune of $300 million. So that is something that the street will of course be watching out for. So all in all, things looking pretty good for IndusInd Bank, and today we saw a good up move coming in on the stock price as well.
Clearly 5% down on Friday and 5% up on Monday. So it's more or less the move which created some volatility, but now the dust is settling. दूसरा जो स्टॉक रेडार पे है वो है भारत फोर्ज. नाउ रिजल्ट्स आए 4th क्वार्टर के, इतने एक्साइटिंग नहीं थे, लेकिन मैनेजमेंट की कमेंट्री काफ़ी एक्साइटिंग थी. इनफैक्ट FY24 यानी करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में भारत फोर्ज को लगता है मार्जिन्स में एक अपटिक आएगा. जो ओवरसीज सब्सिडरीज हैं, खास करके एल्यूमिनियम फोर्जिंग बिजनेस जहाँ लॉसेज हो रहे हैं और लॉसेज नैरो होने चाहिए, टर्न अराउंड दिखना चाहिए, और जो डिफेंस बिजनेस है उसमें काफ़ी सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ आपको FY24 में आती हुई दिखाई पड़ेंगी. इनफैक्ट नोमुरा ने अपग्रेड किया इस स्टॉक को, बाय करने की सलाह है, टारगेट है 929. ब्रोकरेजेस को लगता है कि FY24 से लेकर FY25 में डिफेंस रेवेन्यू को एक बड़ा अपटिक मिलेगा. इनफैक्ट जो मल्टी टाउड गन है जो इंडियन आर्मी को शायद भारत फौज सप्लाई करेगी, वहाँ से 1500 करोड़ का जो है कंट्रीब्यूशन आ सकता है रेवेन्यूज़ में. इसके अलावा जो मीडियम एंड हेवी कमर्शियल व्हीकल है यहाँ भी आपको 5 से 10% की ग्रोथ आती हुई दिखाई देगी अगले 2 फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स में, विच इज़ कोर बिजनेस फॉर देयर फॉर्जिंग आर्म। तो ओवरसीज बिजनेस हो, डिफेंस बिजनेस हो या घरेलू बिजनेस हो, डोमेस्टिक बिजनेस हो, भारत फोर्ज को काफ़ी फ़ायदा पहुंच सकता है और शायद इसीलिए ब्रोकरेजेस यहाँ बुलिश हैं। फ्राइडे के सेशन में थोड़ा बहुत स्टॉक ने करेक्ट किया था, लेकिन आज देखिए एफएनओ के टॉप गेनर्स में से एक था, लगभग 3% की तेज़ी के साथ आज स्टॉक बंद हुआ लगभग 780 रुपीज़ पे।
Well, things boding well for Bharat Forge in the midst of defense spending picking up pace. Let's talk about the next stock on my radar. That's Paytm. Of course, no points for guessing because that stock was up somewhere around 5% in today's session, given the fact that the company has narrowed its losses, reported $1 billion in revenue for FY23. Brokerages are of course turning positive on this counter, and that is evident in the fact that Macquarie, that was largely bearish on it, had turned positive and handed it a double upgrade in February with a target price of 800 rupees, which by the way it's nearing, it's somewhere around that 720 mark or thereabouts. As I mentioned, revenues have crossed $1 billion for FY23, and if you look at the April business update, it has seen an uptick in monthly transacting users, which are which is coming closer to that 10 crore mark, and it's already up 25% on a YY basis. If you talk about the company, it had rather turned EBITDA positive in the December quarter, 3 quarters ahead of the guidance given by the management, and it has also seen an uptick or improvement in its BNPL business, which was largely a concern for the company. And if you look at the commentary coming in from Vijay Shekhar Sharma, it's like the next milestone for the company would be to turn free cash flow positive in the near future. In fact, it has also said, the management has also said that it's at the forefront of AI revolution, and AI first offering will only add to the business efficiencies going forward. So that's another positive. And expanding the UPI base beyond bank accounts will turn out to be a revenue gold mine for the company. That is what VSS has indicated. So all in all, street is turning positive, although Jio Financial Services entry may cause some disruptions, but that is something that we'll have to watch out for as and when we progress. But aside of that, for now the stock doing pretty well, somewhere around 720 levels, and brokerages also pegged a target of somewhere around 950 rupees, which is an upside of 35 odd% from here.
And Nandita, if you look at the new age companies, be it Nykaa, be it Paytm, be it Zomato, or be it Policy Bazaar, all of these stocks are now focusing on profitability. I think the message out to the investors was that yes, we had burned cash in the past, probably market after listing does not appreciate continuous cash burn, और अब यहाँ से अगर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इंप्रूव होगी, कंट्रीब्यूशन मार्जिन इंप्रूव होंगे, तो फिर से एक बार वैल्यूएशन मिलेगा. सो आई थिंक द मैसेज दैट मार्केट सेंड टू द मैनेजमेंट्स ऑफ दीज न्यू एज कंपनीज, इट इज एक्सेप्टेड, एंड आई थिंक द पाथ टू प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी obviously adjusted for ESOP cost is on track, and probably this is what all the managements are trying to do. अब फोकस करते हैं FMCG ट्रेडिशनल कंपनीज पे. न्यू एज कंपनीज के बारे में तो बात कर ली. मैरिको आज एफएनओ का टॉप गेनर था, FMCG पैक का आज का सुपरस्टार. मैरिको 7.5% ऊपर बंद हुआ, और इसका एक मेन रीज़न था पैराशूट में 9% का वॉल्यूम जंप. अगर हम पैराशूट की बात करें, प्रीमियम कोकोनट ऑयल मार्केट में जो अवेलेबल है, यहाँ आपको अच्छी ग्रोथ दिखेगी. इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस में मैरिको ने डबल डिजिट वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ किया, और शायद इसीलिए यहाँ JP मॉर्गन काफ़ी बुलिश है. इनफैक्ट JP मॉर्गन का एक ओवरवेट कॉल है यहाँ 585 रुपीज़ के टारगेट के साथ. इनको लगता है कि वैल्यूएशन काफ़ी सपोर्टिव है यहाँ से. दूसरी FMCG कंपनियों के मुकाबले मैरिको का शेयर थोड़ा बहुत सस्ता है, और पोर्टफोलियो डाइवर्सिफिकेशन की जो कवायद कंपनी कर रही है, जो डाइवर्सिफिकेशन हो रहा है और जिस हिसाब से रिजल्ट्स यील्ड हो रहे हैं, शायद लॉन्ग टर्म में यहाँ वैल्यू बन सकती है. तो मैरिको एक स्टॉक अंडर परफॉर्मर है, लेकिन हाँ अब मोमेंटम कंपनी की साइड पे.
But Yatin, if SkyMet has obviously predicted that there may be El Nino conditions going forward, so do you think that could be a dampener for Marico when it comes to volume, domestic volume?
So there could be some risk, obviously, especially from the rural markets. But yes, if you look at this quarter's surprise number, given that what HUL did, what Dabur did, what Britannia did, Marico का वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ अच्छा था. तो कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ से जो बेस उन्होंने बनाया, जो वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ है, वो शायद मोमेंटम बरकरार रहेगा. और एल नीनो की बात करें तो आई थिंक दोज concerns have subsided. Probably if you look at the month of May, at least for Bombay or cities like Delhi, there are unseasonal rains, but the summer is not as harsh as what we expected for the month of May. So far I think the heat wave that we were talking about has not really been as bad as it could be, but ठीक है, मतलब nature है, you can't control it beyond a point.
That's true. Can't control nature beyond a point. So those were the stocks that we were keeping on our radar this afternoon. With that, we've come to this end, to an end of this episode of Closing Bell. But stay tuned because for more updates and in fact, get back tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. and catch me with all the action on morning trade. We'll also be getting all your stock-related queries answered by experts. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Closing Bell. For more updates, stay tuned to Moneycontrol.